Louisiana All American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Eric Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready for you better not miss. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana All American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker B. Check this out.
I'm just so fresh, so clean. Good morning, Baton Rouge, and welcome to another edition of the Louisiana All American Sports Show here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP, Baton Rouge Community Radio. Good morning. Today is Saturday, May 9th, 2015, and it's time for another edition of the show. I am Eric Hatfield.
And I'm Coach Perry Daniels.
And strap on your seatbelts and get ready to rock and roll for another edition. Perry, how's it going up there in the nation's capital?
Super fantastic, Eric. Super fantastic. We've got a throwback show today. It's just you and I.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like we went into the DeLorean, Back to the Future. Of course, Joker P is, of course, we all do this for the love of sport, for the love of community. We like talking to everybody, but of course, we all got those 9-to-5s, and Joker's got to make his paper, pay the bills. He got a new gig, but he's got to put in that work. So he couldn't join us this morning, but we know he's here in spirit. And don't worry, you're still going to hear a little bit from Joker P today, thanks to the wonderful technology of being able to record his voice. Coach, what else is shaking before we talk about the young people in the high school baseball scene?
Well, man, it's just a busy time for our nation right now as we move forward. One of the beautiful things about the internet, man, is it has removed some of the mystique and mystic nature of our news, so that where everything is readily available to everyone. As we come to terms with that and move forward together in a spirit of truth, erasing myths of superiority, it is going to be interesting.
I agree. It's one of those things. It's kind of been we've all talked about it, but it's definitely been Joker's baby for a while. Is that with the internet and with mobile technology, there is not a lot that can be hidden anymore, and there's a lot that's out there, and the people, the public, the organic public, gets to decide what gets pushed to the forefront. And I think that's I think it's a wonderful time that we live in, quite frankly. It's different than when we were growing up, where we had, 3 outlets and then some newspapers, and those were about all the choices that we had. It's a wonderful time we live in. Quick public service announcement: if you are planning on taking 110 southbound or I-10 westbound, find an alternate route. There are accidents both ways. Traffic has slowed to a crawl, so avoid. So back to Louisiana, back to our young people. Hey, look, we got America's pastime, the diamond sports, going on right now as we have hit the quarterfinal rounds of the LHSAA playoffs, and we have a lot of Baton Rouge. We've had a lot of Baton Rouge area action involved. All the quarterfinals are going on in the higher classifications. These are best of 3 series. So let's tell you where our Baton Rouge area schools are. Denham Springs right now is in a battle right now. They play game 2 this afternoon. They were in a slugfest yesterday. Final score was not updated, but that game in the late innings was tied. So don't have an update on who won that game, but keep an eye on the Denham Springs Yellow Jackets, number 7 overall seed. St. Michael, the Archangel, fell yesterday to Franklinton. Game 2, which they will be playing for their lives, is at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So keep plenty of eyes on that. Also, just a quick update on Class 3A. We have a Baton Rouge presence there as Parkview Baptist, the number 5 seed, will face South Beauregard. That is going to be on Monday at 6 o'clock at South Beauregard, so PVB is still in the building. U-High was eliminated last week in 10 innings, 3-2. Very close game there. That District 7 3A is nothing to mess with. And in Class 2A, Doyle will face Sterlington this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Doyle is the number 1 overall seed in Class 2A. And they'll face Sterlington, and they have a shot. Kinder has already advanced to the semifinals. The finals will all take place in Class C. Our Family Christian Academy Flames were eliminated last week, which would wipe out the Baton Rouge presence in Class C. Real quick, too, next week the season will wind down in Sulphur. That's just outside of Lake Charles at McMurray Park between May 14th through 16th. So if you like to support these young folks, and you like the old diamond action and breathe in the spring air and the flowers, and hopefully if the weather cooperates, then it should be a lot of fun. Last Baton Rouge area update, Christian Life Academy, regular on Louisiana All American Sports.com. They were eliminated last week by St. Edmund. So we still have a few Baton Rouge schools in there up and swinging, and we have a lot that went down, but hey, that's what happens on the diamond. Just real quick go ahead, Perry.
Hey, Eric, I just wanted to give an update and a shout-out to one of our favorite schools in the area. The Southern University Laboratory Kittens won the state championship in Class 1A track and field. So we want to give them big props. And another friend of the show, Coach Kevin Jackson and his White Castle Bulldogs, who were runner-ups in Class 1A last year, finished 5th place this year. There in 1A track and field, but big props to Southern Lab.
Big props to Southern Lab. And it's funny because you have in almost every school, especially the smaller schools, these kids play multiple sports. Funny you mentioned that. Just wanted to give an update to the audience. Coaches seem to like us because we had one of the Southern Lab baseball assistants listening last week, and he just kind of called in. First of all, he was thanking us for talking about Southern Lab, and we're happy to do it. But also, he's just kind of giving us an update. He said, Southern Lab, they were a little bit of an underdog in last week's game. He said, but the place was packed. They gave their opponent a run for the money, kept it really tight. But he also mentioned that one of the key players, an outfielder, was also had to pick a choice, either play baseball or go for the track championship. Of course, the Kittens had an opportunity to win state in track, so he couldn't play baseball that night. He said that might have made a little bit of a difference in a very close game. But big props to Southern Lab. Great season in track. Great season in baseball, and of course, thank you to Coach Holden for giving us those updates and listening to the show. Moving up from the young men to the older young men in college, the Southern University Jaguars wrap up their regular season today with an exhibition game. They're going to play at Lee Hines Field today at 6 o'clock. And GoJagSports.com states they're going to face either BRCC or Delgado. There is nothing definitive on there. The Jags are hot. They've won 3 straight. They hammered Grambling. They also defeated SLU, which tends to field a pretty competitive baseball team. So the Jags are looking really sturdy going into the SWAC tournament. Again, they have a pulse this year, and that's a big improvement over last year when they had the immigration issues with Coach Puebla and a lot of personnel turnover. And Perry, I know you're happy, and I'm happy to see the Jags, with their claws out this year.
Absolutely, man. And Santos Saldivar, the senior ace pitcher for the Jaguars, held Southeastern University to 1 run as the Jaguars defeated them 5-1. So anytime, that's the level that they've got to be able to compete at. That the Division I AA outside of the SWAC, they can dominate in that area. Not just dominate, but just be competitive. That is going to assist in recruiting.
I agree completely. There are no transitive theories in sports, but I'm going to introduce a transitive theory just for the audience's consumption. You know, SLU, Southeastern, when they play LSU a couple of times every year, and they're very competitive with LSU. We know their reputation, and they've stolen a couple against the Tigers. The Jags whooped them. So that just kind of gives you, I mean, again, there are no transitive theories, but it gives you an idea of how the Jags have really, first of all, not only improved over last year, but improved over this year. I mean, they got off to kind of a bumpy start, even against mid-major competition. So it's like I said, I'm really glad, and I'm going to tell you something, that's a good value. If you like baseball, if you like sitting outside and relaxing and, you know, drinking a soda pop, Lee Hines Field gives you an excellent value. You'll get a great view, and you'll get a good show from the Jags. Moving on.
And on all accounts, Santos Saldivar's outing was historic. He not only broke the Southern University single-season strikeout record with 123 strikeouts on the season, he was just determined to win on all accounts. That was there to witness this display. So again, big props to him, and he may have a pro tryout in his future.
Salazar, is that his last name? I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah. Saldivar.
Saldivar, sorry about that.
Ivar, yes.
Did he have a high inning count? I think he was like the lone standout last year. Did he have a high inning count last night? Did he go like 8 or 9 innings or something like that?
Complete game.
Yeah, that is tough to do in college baseball. Congratulations, Tim. I'm so glad to hear that. On the other side of town, in a little to the south, LSU, big SEC series against Missouri. LSU still ranked at the top of the country, and they got off to a good start. They really are playing some good baseball. They've won their last two. Strike that. Last 3 Southeastern Conference series, the Tigers have. I'm sorry, last 4. I got that count wrong. And they are trying to go and keep that streak going against Missouri. They won 8-3 last night at Alec Box Stadium. Today's game will actually be tonight's game, and then the rubber match will be tomorrow at 2 o'clock. The Tigers are continuing to cruise. They look as good as they ever have. They did last year, though, and they bowed out early in the first round, but you can see that on the SEC network. It can also be heard on 98.1 FM. I don't have any television or radio information for the Southern University Jaguars. So, as we always do about this time, a little music for your mind. Perry, I'm going to let you introduce this one since you cherry-picked it.
Oh, yes. Well, this is our Mother's Day edition. Slightly different than where we go, but still in the same genre as we're generally in. This is one of my favorite groups. This is Beauty Within by Dead Prez.
And here we go.
Not to America's top model, but to the natural girls right next door. Happy Mama's Day from deadprez.com.
Perry, that's a beautiful song. I'm going to tell you something. I did not know, the only the melody or I should say the beat, the background, the rhythm. I had known it from the B.O.B. Bruno Mars song, which was very popular back in the mid 2000s. I didn't even know that was a Dead Prez song. That was cool, man. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Hey, man. Well, we always try to represent the women and at least acknowledge the women here. So we definitely, since we were all brought here through a woman, we want to acknowledge Mother's Day tomorrow and wish all those out there a happy one. As we move forward.
Absolutely, and if my mother is listening, happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. I will see you tomorrow, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Look, we had a lot of sports news. It's been a busy time. It's sports busy season. There might not necessarily be the Super Bowl or the Final Four going on, but there's a lot of activity in sports, and the NFL draft took place. Took place. Last week, and I gotta say, there was a lot of I don't know, Perry. I don't even know where to start. Let's just start with our local guy, Lyle Collins. A lot of you locally are probably familiar with this story. Lyle Collins expected to be a first round, at the very worst, second round pick in the 2000 2015 NFL draft. He came back to school for his senior year for the purposes of increasing his draft status and to finish kind of unfinished business in college. You know, a guy who did everything the right way. And then on Tuesday, a story broke saying that a woman with whom Collins was acquainted, I'm assuming it was a romantic interest, but it was not stated, Brittany Mills was murdered. She was shot. And the police wanted to speak with Mr. Collins, and that set up all kinds of red flags and effectively changed his draft status from potential first day to do not touch. Collins wound up going undrafted. His agent put it out there that if he wasn't picked by the third round, he wasn't going to sign, that he wanted to go the free agency route. Updating the story, Collins was signed a free agency contract, 3 years, $1.65 million with the Dallas Cowboys. He can renegotiate after 2, but that is about 9% of the money he would have had on his contract over 4 years had he been drafted roughly where he was projected. It cost Mr. Collins an amount of money I can't even begin to wrap my mind around, and I'm almost speechless. I don't know what to say or how to feel, but I'm very disappointed and a little angry for the way the chips fell for this young man, Perry.
And justifiably so, Eric. This young man, it comes from a good family. I've done some training with Leah Collins, his younger sister, working with Coach Randy Duvall. Leah Collins is a tremendous basketball player, so keep an ear out for that name. Basketball player, Leah Collins. But this young man, he dated Miss Mills, and just based on that, he's had to go through all of this, Eric. And the big winners in this situation are the Dallas Cowboys.
Gerard, he finds his man. You know,
they're getting a steal.
Oh yeah, they're getting a freebie practically. And you know, the thing was here's the thing, I don't know what the rules are or what the standards are, but I thought for a moment that this might have ended up working out in Collins' favor by accident, and that I figured, this is a guy with first round talent. He's a left tackle, which is, in my opinion, the second most important position on the field after quarterback. I thought there might be a bidding war going on for him in free agency, but I'm going to guess, and I don't know this, but I'm going to guess that there are rules limiting rookie free agent contracts, because otherwise, if there were an open market, I can't understand why he wouldn't have had an 8-figure contract or a high 6-figure contract. So I mean, he really got the short end of the stick, to put it very mildly, and I don't even know where to start pointing the fingers. I mean, you could point to the police department, as you brought that up last week, for not expediting this. My counter to that, I'm not even saying I feel strongly, I'm just kind of observing, is that, their first interest is to Miss Mills and her family and to find the persons responsible for this murder. So how much blame can we throw their way? We can blame the NFL, but at the same token, if you're a GM and you pay your bills this way and you don't know, and you said, hey, don't even bother drafting after the third round, can you afford to waste or invest a pick? It's I don't know where to point the finger, but a finger should be pointed, because this is just, it's not fair to me. It's not right. It's wrong. I mean, life's not fair, but this was messed up.
Well, it's bad timing as well, on the heels of the Hernandez situation. Mm-hmm. But yet, you can't, this is part of the evolution that our country is going through. Mm-hmm. That we cannot continuously have people of color painted in one broad stroke based upon interactions with the justice system. And this young man is not Hernandez. Mm-hmm. And just because there's a situation that may remotely resemble that situation, he should not have had to pay for Hernandez's bad character.
I agree, or somebody else's bad character. The person who murdered this young woman with whom he used to be acquainted. Messed up situation all around. Other National Football League news. I'm loving this. I'm salivating. I'm licking my chops. I can't wait. I was hoping so much, Perry, that some more news broke on this story last night, but I didn't see anything. Tom Brady, Tom Terrific, the Patriots, Belichick, America's team, Golden Boy, Captain America. Oh, I know he has had the wind let out of his sails today. He's got to be feeling flat. He's got to be feeling just a tad bit deflated today. The final report came out. The National Football League hired an independent investigator to investigate the Deflategate case. For those of you casual listeners to the show or casual football fans, Deflategate. Could there have been some foul play involved? What happened? So, Brady was called in. He kind of only half cooperated. He answered all the investigators' questions, but did not volunteer email or phone records. Turns out there were text message trails, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is the final report came out, and I love this language, that said that there was intentional tampering of the balls. It did clear Bill Belichick, the coach, and Robert Kraft and the organization of any knowledge, but said that Tom Brady, I love this one, quote, probably, generally, had knowledge of what was going on. Now, there might not be a smoking gun, but as we know, Sheriff Goodell, has a different system of justice and has not waited for a smoking gun to lower the boom like he did with Sean Payton and the Saints in the Bountygate situation and suspended Sean Payton for an entire year. So we're just waiting to hear what kind of discipline might come out on Tom Terrific. There are a lot of speculations about suspensions. The word on the street yesterday was that Goodell's justice could have come down as soon as yesterday. That did not happen yet, but Perry, I'm licking my chops and I love to see sports karma, especially for this fella.
So what do you anticipate happening here, partner?
I think with all the publicity, I think we're definitely looking at a suspension. I think my gut, if the fixer were on, if I were betting on the line, I'm thinking minimum of 2 games. I think it could be up to 6, just depending when you consider how harsh Goodell's been in the past and the fact that this, unlike Bountygate, which was just a black eye for the league, and unlike some of these off-the-field disciplinary cases, this goes to the integrity of the game. Now, all that being said, anyone who saw the game, I don't think would put their money on the Colts winning that game if it were replayed with inflated balls. The Patriots clobbered them. It's a misdemeanor, but it ain't the crime. It's the cover-up. And the Patriots organization, these are not first-time offenders. These are repeat offenders, and for those reasons, I think the hammer should come down hard. If he just come out and said, look, I told the equipment guys to get my balls the way I like it, didn't realize about the rule or didn't realize it was that big of a deal, and fessed up to it, it could have been a fine slap on the wrist to move on. But instead, you have this federal case made out of it, right before the Super Bowl, and you have the Patriots deny, and he laughs it off and makes a mockery out of it. I think it's time for them to get some of their just dessert, Perry. What do you think?
Well, I don't see the NFL coming down very hard on their face of the league, and which is what Tom Brady did. So the damage is done. We've already crowned the Super Bowl winner. There's nothing to take that away, and I know that's tough for our to comprehend because they're crying tremendous foul, Eric. That yes, the pound and a half or whatever it was, that made a huge difference, and to them, it made a 45-point difference. So. To them, their cheating is cheating, and cheating should not be rewarded. But in this situation, in these types of situations, what do? You cannot go back and uncrown your Super Bowl champion, regardless of how it was obtained. What's more egregious than deflating the football is the way that they won the Super Bowl over the Rams.
Well, now, Perry, careful. You're talking about the Boston Herald report about the walkthrough or whatever that was? Is that where you're going with that?
Well, so they were accused, the Patriots were accused of stealing signals of the St. Louis Rams prior to the Super Bowl held there in New Orleans.
I have a friend with whom I debate this almost, it seems like it comes up every time we get together and talk about the Patriots. The Boston Herald did retract that story. The problem is they retracted it in the spring when nobody was paying attention after the first one broke. Look, if they were guilty of that, you're right, they'd have a complete tainted legacy, and I think there's some taint. I mean, these guys do everything. They're, as Charlie Murphy would say, habitual line steppers. They step over the line to gain an edge. But that St. Louis Rams story was later retracted, but of course, the scandal was out there and the damage was done by that time. And a lot of people think, well, you're guilty by association. And I'll tell you what, Perry, after this, I almost thought about not even mentioning the retraction because I really do wonder about that now.
Well, but then you also, it goes to the culture of our sports here in this country, Eric, because you now have high school coaches with the philosophy that if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
And that's the wrong.
That's the bigger issue.
It is, and it's the wrong message. You know, in the pros, I've often said, I've had a catchphrase. In the pros, anything goes. It's professional sports. Your only object is to win when you are being paid to win and entertain your fans. And there are a lot of issues that come off that tree, but I think it's a different philosophy that can be palatable or tenable. But in high school, you're supposed to be teaching kids lessons. It's good for their bodies. You're teaching discipline, teamwork. And we talked about a couple of stories here on this show with the huddle system where you had coaches hacking it, the Destrehan coaches, assistants hacking into the huddle system. We had the Livonia scandal, although that was a little sketchy with the rules. But, I mean, still, bottom line is you had an ineligible player. We had, Southern Lab, the baseball team, was ranked as high as almost number one at one point, and they forfeited 3 games because of a parent of one of the students not being thorough with an address, so the LHSAA took 3 games away. I mean, we see it all the time, and it's in high school with these are children. I know they're young men, but they're still children. We're still teaching. I still think we're teaching at the college level, but especially at this level, Perry. And when you see this,
hey, look at the Little League World Series last year.
And that's another unfortunate example. You look at that wonderful story that both of those teams, the one from Philly with Monet Davis, and I think she was from Philadelphia, and the one from Chicago, and then you had, even stupid rules are still rules, and they said the coaches knowingly covered it up. So again, and this is a talented team, the wrong message is being sent to those kids. And those kids 40 years from now say, man, we had such a great time, we captured the imagination of the country, but because of this, there's that scar, and that hurts these children, and that's the whole point of these amateur sports. I mean, I know I'm getting on a high horse, but just kind of the point you brought up made me start thinking about some of the domino effects of this, and it really just kind of chaps my hide a little bit.
And it should.
Yeah. Well, speaking of chapping hides, there really weren't a lot of chapped hides in that fight last week. There was really a lot of, it was almost like Dancing with the Stars as much as it was a championship boxing fight. We had the fight of the century, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I guess it's the fight of the century by default because there hasn't been a fight this century that I think America's really cared about at all. I mean, certainly not since Roy Jones, probably not since Tyson Holyfield too. Well, our resident fight fan, Gerard Piper, he's stuck with it. He's still been with boxing. He has the most knowledge on this show out of anybody with boxing. And even though Piper has to make his cheddar today, we would be remiss as a team if we did not get his 2 cents on that big event. Even though it wasn't, in my opinion, a very entertaining fight, it was a big event. And I'll tell you what, Perry, I was excited just to be excited about boxing for any reason last week. Let's get Joker P's commentary on that. I said, here we go.
It's the Louisiana All American Sports Show, and it's Gerard Piper, better known as Joker P. At first I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother, Miss Gwendolyn Hawkins. Also, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my colleagues, my homeboy, Coach Perry Daniels, to your family, to my other colleague, Mr. Eric Hatfield. Happy Mother's Day to you and your family. And I could not forget about my homeboy, Professor T. Johnson. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the listeners out there and the non-listeners. First, I want to talk about this fight, the Mayweather and the Pacquiao. I got to talk about it. First I would like to say that I thought Mayweather fought a real strategic type fight. I thought that he was real smart in the ring, and he did what he normally does. Nothing was really different from me. But with Pacquiao, he kind of let me down. He fought only one way. He really let me down when he got to talking about his shoulder at the end. He didn't. He talks about God when he wins, but he didn't bring that up when he lost. And he kind of lost a lot of points with me on that one. It was kind of like he came off to be like a sore loser and everything. So I didn't really like that, about that fight. I thought Mayweather did what he did. He showed that he was he can adjust to different types of ways. You know, the way he fought different opponents. He strategized and he thinks in the ring. You know, he used veteran moves. He was able to tie him up when need to. Those are all veteran type moves in boxing. And he just showed that he just outclassed him, really. You know, Pacquiao seemed to have one way that he fought, you know, and he couldn't change his strategy. You know, he couldn't adapt. And that's what showed to me. You know, you can't make a person fight the way you want him to fight. You have to be able to force your will on that person. And Mayweather had the pace of the fight, so my hat's off to him, you know. And of course, I predicted him, you know. So to me, it was satisfying, even though, you know, Jamie Foxx, you know, I don't know if they say he was drunk or whatever. I don't know, you know. But, you know, I know he had it kind of like had the organ in the background, and he did what he do. But, you know, to me, stick to the comedy, you know, stick to telling jokes, you know. Because to me, you know, comedians are not supposed to be making music, because I never take them serious. Almost like Eddie Murphy would party all the time. I could never take him serious with that, you know. But be that as it may, you know, I digress. And now I got to talk about these playoffs. Oh, I got to give my predictions. What up, big Professor T? What happened to the Spurs? I wish I could be there for to tell you face to face, but you know, I'll get with you. Just hold up. I got you, my boy. I got you. But anyway, you know, I'm going to start off with the Cavs and the Bulls. Man, now this is going to be a tough series right here. I think that I had predicted Cleveland really to go all the way, at least to the finals and everything. But I think now with the Kevin Love injury and everything, that's really kind of hurts them a little bit. But if they can get past the Bulls with the defense that they got, then I think the Cavs will still go to the final, just on the strength of LeBron James being as smart as he is on the court and the talent that he is. He's pretty much the best player left in the playoffs. Because to me, when the Spurs went down, that kind of opened the door for everybody, you know, because the champs went down, and I think they was the only one that really can get LeBron out of his game. They kind of, you know, can challenge and beat LeBron. So now, you know, but we'll see. But I'm predicting the Cavs to come out there. I think it's going to go 7. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland Cavaliers on that series. Okay, next series that we got, I talk about Golden State and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now this is a series that is more competitive than what I thought. You know, Golden State is a jump shooting team, so it seems like when they're not really on, and Memphis is a defensive team, and I always kind of tend to go toward defense. But you know, it's all about firepower at the end of the day in a 7-game series. And a team that won 67 games to me in the regular season, I just can't go with them, you know, for the lose. So I think that was going to go 7-2, but I think Steph Curry MVP, you know, I'm going to have to ride with them. I'm going to go with them on this one now. All right, on the next series, we got Atlanta and the Washington Wizards. We could almost pretty much move on from that series because it looks like John Wall got injured. So I'm definitely going to have to go with Atlanta. There was a number 1 seed coming in, even though I thought Washington probably could have got him if John Wall didn't get hurt. But I'm going to have to go with Atlanta on that one. You know, it's pretty much a done deal for them. And now, the last series we're going to talk about, I'm going to predict, is going to be the Clippers and the Rockets. Oh, man, now this is a good series out in the West. These two teams, I think, had the potential to go to the finals. You know, but I think at the end of the day, I think I'm going to have to go, man, this is a hard one. I may have to go with the Rockets. It just all depends on Chris Paul injury, you know. If he comes back from his injury and everything, then I'll probably have to go back with them. But, you know, I don't know. It's going to be a hard one. But I think I'm gonna probably have to go with the Rockets on that one. I'm going to ride with the Rockets with the upset. Even though I like the Clippers, I think I'm going to ride with the Rockets just on the Chris Paul injury. So there you have it. You know, you guys enjoy it. Appreciate all the work, man. Thanks for listening. Joker P, Gerard Piper. I'm out. Happy Mother's Day.
Well, Gerard, that dude is smooth on the mic, man. He knows how to package it together, man. That's Piper. I mean, he's still here with us, even though he's not sitting here next to us. I get a couple of directions we can go. We can certainly talk. You know, it is Mother's Day, so we could talk about the ladies next. I'm thinking, what do you think, Perry?
Let's talk about the ladies? Yeah, let's get that in.
Well, as you all know, we have a very testosterone-loaded show because it's sports, it's manpower, but we haven't forgotten about the ladies. It's the community, and half the population, maybe a little more, is ladies. So we like to know what's on your mind. And so Gerard Piper, of course, sat down and chatted with one of the ladies about the top 5 things on a woman's mind while watching sports this past week. You're going to like this one.
Number 5.
Hey, Ray Lewis. How about you pay the bail for all those protesters still in jail that own number 52 Ravens jerseys? Not on your watch? Get real.
Number 4.
What was Jamie Foxx doing before the fight? Can you say inebriated?
Number 3.
Jameis Winston had crab legs the night he got drafted. What do you think Johnny Manziel had the night he got drafted?
Ooh.
Sniff, sniff?
Number 2.
I wonder, did Chris Paul cry like that the first time he heard the Donald Sterling tape? Did you see him crying on Tim Duncan's shoulder?
And the number 1 thing that goes through a female's mind while watching sports this week was...
Somebody's gotta do it. I will make sure that Tom Brady's balls are regulation size before every game. Where do I sign up?
Sign up right here.
Oh my God, that was awesome, folks! I had not heard this. I don't think Perry had heard it before either. That was funny. That was funny. I'll tell you, Miss Ricard is really good. I'm sure I probably shouldn't have said it on the radio, but there's a regular friend of the show. You've heard her voice before. She's really good at delivering that part. She has the right flair for that. I'll tell you, man.
Got her bump music, Eric.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
That's okay. That's okay. That was a good job. Happy Mother's Day.
Well, I'll tell you, they're talking about the National Basketball Association. There's a series that Perry's had a particular interest in that he's kept us up to date on. And when you hear this bump, you already know we're going to talk about the National Basketball Association. Let's go back over that series of this particular team, as they had an interesting end to one series and then a very compelling series right now.
What people do for money? What people do for money?
The Los Angeles Clippers.
Boy.
All right, let's talk Clippers for a second, man. First, they showed tremendous fortitude down the stretch against the reigning NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. So you got to give Chris Paul props as well as Doc Rivers. Eric, take it from here. I've got to get ready for our next segment.
Absolutely. That series was epic. And, it's unfortunate, after last year during the playoffs, in spite of the discipline handed down, the change of ownership, that organization is going to have just a little bit of a cloud over it after Donald Sterling's former owner Donald Sterling's shenanigans. Of course, the tape, the audio that was recorded with he and his former girlfriend, and some of the racial diatribes that he went on. And it's going to cast a pall over that team. It's going to be hard to not associate this group of Clippers with those guys, in spite of former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer buying the team and trying to make them over. But all that being said, that seventh game was absolutely epic. I don't even, you have the Willis Reed effect. You had Chris Paul, who had pulled his hamstring, who came out of the game for a couple of minutes, came back. You could see he was in obvious pain. He sat out the first 2 games of the Western Conference semifinals against the Houston Rockets. because of it. But he put that team on his back and willed them to win with a game-winning basket in the final seconds of that game to dethrone the two-time Western Conference champion and the NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. But it's hard to get away from that Sterling legacy. You know, you have Donald.
I'm the racist.
You see what I mean? The guy keeps on popping his dirty head up. Doggone it. But nonetheless, they advanced to the second round against the Rockets, and this is going to be a slugfest. They lead 2-1. They really made a statement last night. You know, they swung it out with the Rockets in games 1 and 2, but that was without Chris Paul. They won by 25 points last night, and I'm starting to be of the opinion that maybe the Clippers, when they are at full strength, might be a little bit too much for Houston in spite of having Dwight Howard in the post and James Harden. I know the Rockets were not the number 2 seed by accident, but my goodness gracious, the Clippers just on the court look like the better team. They look like when they're full strength, they can outrun them. They can push that turbo button like in a road race when they want to.
You know what, though, Eric? I discredited. I forgot that they've added some new members to their team, and clearly the difference between last year's team, Clippers team, and this year's Clippers team is the addition of Baton Rouge native Big Baby Davis.
Oh man, he is such an X factor, Perry. His efforts don't show up in the stat sheet, but my goodness, can he make a difference, especially defensively? He's a guy that carries his weight well and is very skilled. And when you have that combination and you can put that guy in off the bench, you can see how those boosts, particularly last night, really helped out the Clippers. And good for Big Baby. I mean, from this area, I'll tell you, it's been interesting. It's been really interesting to watch. There's going to be drama. It's going to be entertaining, and I guess that's what the NBA sells. And good for, and also Austin Rivers, former New Orleans Pelican.
Austin Rivers he's playing for his dad like he's never played for the Pelicans.
I know. He has the proper motivation and tutelage right now, Perry. We had some talk of. So anyway, this series, I'm thinking. I know we're 3 games in, so it kind of gives us an unfair advantage. But the series was not underway last Saturday. At this point, I would have probably picked the Clippers if you asked me that question last night. I'm definitely picking them now after Game 3. Perry, I know who your heart is not with, but who is your mind with in this series?
Yeah, the mind says that those people that will do anything for money are going to come out victorious here in this series.
Oh, man.
So, I've got to go with the Clippers here. And, Eric, man, right after the show, I'm going to go get some blueberries, man, and I don't know why I've got this craving, but I wanted to share that with you.
Blueberries are delicious. They're very much a spring fruit. I love them myself. They're also a superfood, but that's random craving. Shoot, you sure you haven't had some of those those green leafy vegetables that you roll into a pipe and smoke, Perry? That's a random craving. That sounds like the munchies.
No, not at all. Just trying to share with you that I'm ready for that other segment.
Alrighty. Do we have a call? Are we calling out or are we getting a call in, Perry? I'm trying to pick up that.
We're going to get a call in.
All right. Well, let's see. Well, that should be coming any moment. Oh, speak of the devil. I tell you, our timing is impeccable here on the Louisiana All American Sports Show.
WHYR, what's your name?
St. Louis Goat.
St. Louis Goat? What you do?
I rap, man. I rap.
You rap?
Yeah.
What's the rhyme for?
All right, I got something like, I gotta keep it real. Underground king, so I tell you what is trill. I can't even watch the news without seeing my brothers killed by the ones who swear to protect us. I blessed with the wheel. They beat in the arresters, call them dumb pressers. They don't want us making up. So I'm sleeping, then get the message. How long has it taken us? In the book I didn't find, so I had to search in mind. Know thyself, love thyself, watch thy health, and you'll be fine. Don't let the mislead you. Don't follow leaders who blind to the fact that we were kings and queens. Not just ancestors of slaves, but you don't even read. But that ain't what the teachers teach or the preachers preach. So what the sisters made us feel is that it's too deep to dig. Rather have some education, school to daycare for your kids. Raise up in a nation full of discrimination. Move out your hood and call it gentrification.
That's what. What's your name?
St. Louis Goat.
The Goat.
What's up?
From the Lou.
Yes, sir. University City. Great on any track.
The St. Louis Go. But we see, Perry, we got talent. We have coaches calling in. We got the athletic talent. We got the rappers calling in from the Lou, probably rubbing elbows with Nelly, who, by the way, will be in Baton Rouge next week, and I will definitely be there. But anyway, I digress. Right. Yes, indeed. We got. We just.
We got 10 minutes here before
Noel Jackson. With Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction here on 96.9 FM WHYR-LP Baton Rouge Community Radio. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm keeping my eye on that guy. He's got a future. I'm telling you that right now. And also, we'll look back at what we told you was going to happen a week ago as we put our necks all the way out there last week for a very special event, the Fight of the Century. Talked a little basketball. It's our usual segment. I told you so.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
Right.
But then I was thinking to myself, I was watching, and when I seen the human jukebox stand up there and bring Mayweather.
Okay, that's right.
Yes, sir. I said to myself, there's no possible way that I could put my money on just a man of my own heart.
Eric?
Oh, it puts me on the hot seat first.
Oh, yeah, man.
There's no way I could ever pick against Money May. You talking?
I'm going to just go with Mayweather. I don't want to see the upset. I kind of want to see the Rocky Balboa factor coming against Apollo Creed.
I think he's going for the knockout. So I got to go with Mayweather in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this: that if Mayweather does not knock him out, he does not win. That I will put my money on the draw.
No, I am just as much of a Spurs fan.
I know
as I am a Green Bay Packers fan.
So
really?
Therefore, with that being said, I mean, I'm a Spurs fan since George Gervin, Banks, Otis Gilmore, Sean Elliott, and Avery Johnson.
All right, the reels are recording, Professor.
These guys are not playing. Okay. Otis Gilmore is not playing tonight.
With that being said, we got Popovich sitting on the bench, though.
Since I live on the West Coast, I'm going with the Clippers.
Uh-oh.
That being said, there's no way I can pick the Clippers.
He's not playing.
But I'm going to walk with the defending champion.
You haven't named anyone that's playing.
The defending champions are playing.
Yes, indeed. Pacquiao, Mayweather did the do for money. It's just a money theme on this show. Money May, what people do for money, my goodness. The National Basketball Association, though, the playoffs continue. Do we still have the GOAT on the line? Did you want to chime in a little bit on some of this, get in some of this action?
Which one is that?
I wasn't sure if the GOAT was still on the line or not.
No, he's gone.
Okay.
He does one thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Look, we still have some good series. Well, we have 3 good series in the NBA. I think after the John Wall injury, we can, like Piper said in his recorded piece, we can pretty much send the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. But last night, the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Perry, we talked at the top of the hour about deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra would say, and Back to the Future. I felt myself go back to 1989. Last night when, with the score tied, after LeBron James swatted the ball out of Derrick Rose's hands, he kind of got away with a foul. With the score tied, the game was going to be sent to overtime after J.R. Smith's dramatic three-point shot, and Christian Thompson got his hand in Derrick Rose's grill, and from about 22 feet, Rose faded away, the ball hit the glass, and I for a split second, I went back to 89 and saw Jordan shooting it over Elo getting the Bulls that win. The Bulls stole Game 3 last night and took a commanding 2-1 lead in the series. And I tell you what, I still think Cleveland's going to win the series. I still am going to stick with my prediction of Cleveland for the finals. But that brimming confidence, bordering on arrogance I had at the beginning of the playoffs is gone, especially with the Kevin Love injury. Fortunately, Pau Gasol got banged around a little bit too, and I thought he was going to eat the Bulls up in that position where Kevin Love was not defensively. But without Pau, that kind of levels it back. But man, what a crazy game last night. And I think this could be the best series in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Yeah, whoever wins this series is going to represent the Eastern Conference in the finals. And with Kevin Love being out, you would think that the Star would have a distinct advantage for the Bulls. But where the Bulls are really outplaying the Cavaliers is in the backcourt.
Yeah.
The backcourt is just tremendous with Butler and Rose combining for 50 points last night. That's just tremendous, man. And there was a lot of talk about Kyrie Irving, but, you know, he seems to have disappeared in this series just because Butler and Rose are outplaying them.
You know, and Jimmy Butler's emergence this year and in these playoffs has been remarkable. You know, last year at this time when he kind of started swinging with Nene in that Wizards series, and they both got, they both got suspended for a game, and I kind of mentioned, well, you know, Nene is a key player, and he's just Jimmy Butler. Well, they ain't just Jimmy Butler anymore. Jimmy Butler is emerging into one of the best defensive players in the NBA, and he's now showing he's a legitimate threat on the other side of the court. And you're right, his rise was the X factor I did not count on being as profound as it has turned out to be. And Kyrie Irving has just been kind of above average as opposed to good to great, which he had been all year long, which means it puts, once again, this recurring theme, this Back to the Future theme, it's putting the onus back on LeBron James again. It's almost like he's back with Anderson Varejao and Big Z and Mo Williams. These Cavaliers, these were supposed to be the refined Cavaliers, and them being a little tongue-in-cheek. I mean, you can see they have more talent with Butler and Christian Thompson's emergence on defensively, but the Cavs are now in for a fight, whereas it almost looked like a coronation at first. But I think we all kind of knew the Bulls could have been the fly in the ointment, and we're seeing that right now. We talked about the Clippers and the Rockets in the Western Conference. One series that's kind of flying a little bit under the radar is you have some brawlers in the Memphis Grizzlies. They tied that series up at 1 with Golden State, and they're punching with Golden State. Memphis is a physical team. They beat Golden State at home. It's only the third time at all this season that's happened. And I still think Golden State has too much, especially as far as firepower, to not win that series. But with Mike Conley is playing with plates in his face. He broke his face, Perry. The man broke his face. He has steel plates in his face, and he's playing like a brawler. And I'll tell you, if you like old school physical basketball, if you're a fan of the Bad Boys, or if you hated the Bad Boys because of who they were, this is going to be an entertaining series.
Look, man, this Conley kid is. I call him a kid because I remember the kid that it was part of my assignment to pick up from the airport for 5-star basketball camp.
Wow.
When he came to camp. And he was a tremendous kid, man, tough, gritty, and he's still that same way as an adult. And he's got to remember that this Memphis Grizzlies team here is a veteran basketball team. They are not in awe of Golden State's record or their home court advantage. So I really see Memphis pushing through. Golden State put up tremendous numbers this season. And statistically, it is one of the better teams in the history of the NBA. It's just that I don't see, I think that Memphis, because of their maturity, will be able to push through the talent of the Golden State Warriors.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a series. It's going quietly, but it's going to get louder and louder the longer the Grizzlies hang around. And I agree, they are a veteran team and they are physical. We are coming up to the end of our journey. We'll see whether or not the Warriors can duplicate the 96 Bulls. I tend to agree with you, Perry. I think their lack of experience might fall them short, but their coaching has been way more than I could have expected this year. Well, I guess as we always say, any parting shots, and then as we always say, Perry.
Hey, man, I want to say that it is appalling that bail for the protesters that committed property damage is higher than the bail for the police officers that took a life.
I'll tell you, it's just that system never gets away, man. Well, we're getting down to the end of our journey, Perry.
ADT, JNS, love you.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in and have a good afternoon.
Hail to the king. Hail to the king. And lots of love. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king. Lots of love. May he protect us